The man started the game with a brick. Excitedly, he shouted, "This must be an artifact!" But the next second, a self-destruct countdown appeared on the brick. The angry man immediately threw away the brick. As a result, the countdown on the brick was shortened by 1 year the next second. The man was so frightened that he immediately lit incense, knelt down, and apologized. He even complained that the system should have just given him a knife for suicide instead. The system actually ended up giving him a knife. They gave him a super short knife. The man's former identity was the chief disciple of Iron-Boned. The sect leader was arrested for visiting a brothel. After that, the sect leader was executed for attempting to escape from prison. His predecessor died on the 3rd day after the sect leader's death. He was killed by a falling plaque on the way to the restroom in the middle of the night. He initially refused this stinky way of death. But this could not stop a transmigrator's delusional thoughts. He quickly awakened the Sect System. The main task is to recruit 100,000 disciples within 100 years. This is nothing for him at all. After 6 months, he has not recruited a single disciple. But today, a girl suddenly said she wanted to join the Iron-Boned Sect, which made Jun Sereno instantly overjoyed. At the same time, due to the addition of women, the system has opened the sect store. At this moment, Jun Sereno flashed an evil smile. He was looking forward to what awesome things the system would have. The result was only a beginner's gift pack. The next second, he burst into tears. Indeed, without pay to win, it is impossible to have awesome things. But he still couldn't escape the law of true fragrance. He immediately opened the beginner's gift pack. Among them, the experience talisman allowed him to instantly break through to the meridian, unlocking 5 layer. At this moment, Jun Sereno laughed. "Ha ha ha, I feel invincible." However, the system told him that the meridian unlocking 12 layer is only the entry stage of the Stellar Fall land. Afterwards, he took his female disciple Serena to Azure Solar City to recruit disciples, and suddenly, several bandits appeared on the way. One of them, with a swollen face, cried out, "Senior Brother Lee, it was him who hit me." The man then asked, "Who dares to be so bold as to hit someone from my spiritual spring sect?" Jun Sereno coldly told the other person, "I am Jun Sereno, the sect leader of Iron-Boned Sect." Upon hearing Iron-Boned, they started discussing it one after another. Iron-Boned Sect is the sect whose sect leader got caught visiting brothels. After attempting to escape but failing, he was beheaded by the 9th-grade sect. Upon hearing this, Jun Sereno also felt embarrassed. "Are you stopping me just to humiliate my Iron-Boned Sect?" After that, he asked Serena to step aside. After Serena moved aside, she said, "If you are going to die, remember to pass the position of sect leader to me." Upon hearing this, Jun Sereno was completely bewildered. Afterwards, his body erupted with spiritual chi. 3 light rings appeared on his wrist. This puzzled everyone else. How come he's only at meridian unlocking 3 layer? The master of a sect, even if only at the 9th grade, at least must have reached the martial apprentice stage. Are you kidding me? As a sect leader of meridian unlocking 3 layer? The next second, he was swiftly seized by Jun Sereno and pinned down. Do you still find it funny now? Men just don't understand. Why does a meridian unlocking 3 layer have such strong power? At this time, Jun Sereno also stopped pretending. Others have also noticed. It turns out that meridian unlocking 5 layer has been hiding his true strength. That's how Jun Sereno took down everyone. At the same time, he also completed the system side quest and gained 4 points of sect contribution. He immediately summoned the system's mall and took a look. Serena was speechless. How can this sect leader act like a fool, constantly gesturing and comparing? Jun Sereno felt embarrassed. Why can't there be anything affordable to buy? Suddenly he found that he could exchange for a basic healing Dan with just a small amount of contribution. Damn, although this can be exchanged, isn't it too depressing to exchange the first one for healing medicine? Absolutely cannot exchange this. Suddenly Serena heard something. It turns out she discovered a severely injured person not far away. Jun Sereno immediately went forward to check. The person still has a breath. And Serena's face was full of indifference. Have you seen enough? We need to hit the road. Even if he still has a breath, what can he do? You don't understand medicine. However, Jun Sereno laughed. Although I don't understand medicine, I have healing medicine. Jun Sereno gave the injured man the Dan pill. And Serena sighed. This person not only has external injuries, but also internal injuries. Your ordinary golden wound ointment cannot heal him. But the next moment, she was surprised. The injured man stood up instantly. How is this possible? The man who was barely breathing just a moment ago. How did he become full of life after taking the Dan pill? This sect leader is even more mysterious than I imagined. And he looks so enigmatic and unfathomable. However, Jun Sereno actually figured out the secret to getting rich quick. He immediately excitedly reopened the mall. The primary healing Dan pill actually has such a powerful effect. That is definitely priceless. In the martial arts world, severe injuries are common. I want to exchange all the remaining contribution points for Dan pills, and then figure out a way to sell them at a high price. That way, I can make a fortune immediately. Just thinking about it makes me so excited. However, the next moment, the beautiful scene shattered because Dan pills can only be purchased once a month. But Jun Sereno thought better of it. Let's just consider saving a life as more important than building a 7-story stupa. Before he could finish his sentence, he realized that the man had disappeared. Serena just told him that when you were laughing like a fool, the person had already left. And Jun Sereno felt very uncomfortable. I exchanged a whole 1 contribution for that. He didn't even say thank you before leaving. And Serena advised Jun Sereno. Leader, I suggest you become a villain. Being a good person in Stellarfall Land often doesn't end well. Upon hearing this, Jun Sereno's heart also changed. He had originally planned to save people, and then lure them into the sect. But reality turned out to be so ironic. People in this world either insult me and beat me, or they run away after I save them. Since the rules of this world respect the strong, then I must become a strong person capable of shaking the heavens and the earth. Shortly afterwards, the two of them quickly arrived at Azure Solar City. Jun Sereno laughed. In the future, I will definitely build Iron-Boned Sect even more magnificent and grand than this Azure Solar City. The onlookers nearby were puzzled. Is this dummy really a disciple of Azure Solar Village Iron-Boned Sect? Jun Sereno replied fiercely. I am not a disciple of Iron-Boned Sect. I am the second sect leader of Iron-Boned Sect. But the next second, everyone around burst into laughter. Everyone is mocking Jun Sereno. Now Jun Sereno is really becoming emo. At this moment, Serena walked up. Jun Sereno was deeply moved by Serena's actions. Serena, luckily I have you. Before being interrupted by Serena's sharp tongue. But Jun Sereno quickly regained his composure. Don't worry, I have experienced all sorts of challenges. Why would I care about others' criticisms in private? As they approached Azure Solar City, Serena still had some doubts. Being ridiculed like this, sect leader, can you endure it? However, Jun Sereno sneered. Just kidding, in my past life, I was a super suck-up. What's a little embarrassment to me? And he has to endure even if he can't. Only by using strength can he shut them up. And so the recruitment meeting of Bisect has begun. The Tiger War Gang and Huge Blade Sect are taunting each other. Meanwhile, Jun Sereno has arrived in their midst. Look! Isn't my cheapest tent package good enough? This immediately aroused the enmity of the two sections. They immediately ordered their disciples to dismantle this broken tent. At this moment, Jun Sereno also intends to take action to do some advertising. But suddenly a voice was heard. Li Azure Solar of the Li family has arrived. In that instant, it attracted the attention of the leaders of various sections. Jun Sereno still did not know who this Li Azure Solar was. At this point, two passers-by started to explain. Li Azure Solar is a popular candidate whom various sects are vying to attract. He was identified as a top-tier talent with Azure Solar City's #1 spiritual root at the age of 15. The level of spiritual root represents the strength of one's aptitude for martial arts. And it also determines the upper and lower limits of one's cultivation level. In small places like Azure Solar City, having a middle-tier spiritual root is already exceptional. While Jun Sereno has the lowest tier of spiritual root, the lower tier. So at this time, Jun Sereno has made a decision. Even if he deceives this person into foolishness, he will still deceive him into the sect. Li Azure Solar quickly appeared in the midst of the crowd's adulation. And Jun Sereno suddenly found this person somewhat familiar. Serena told him, "It's the man who got injured in the wilderness before." At this moment, an old man walked out. "Are you interested in joining my Vast Mountain Sect?" Vast Mountain Sect is a 5-grade sect in the Azure Solar District. Serena also believes that men with top-tier spiritual root joining a 5-grade sect is currently the best choice. And Jun Sereno feels bad. What? Does that mean I have no chance? I was planning to recruit him with a life-saving favor. Suddenly, Li Azure Solar walked up to Jun Sereno. "Are you the sect leader of Iron-Boned Sect?" Everyone was confused at that moment. Why would young Master Li go to that trashy sect to communicate? And Jun Sereno laughed. It was exactly the sect leader of the Iron-Boned Sect. The two bald men who were planning to attack him before were very puzzled. "Old Scar, are we having hallucinations?" Azure Solar City is only in its first day. He actually went to apologize to that guy. Jun Sereno immediately helped up Li Azure Solar before you even said anything. And Serena complained. "You were trying to force him to join by using the favor of saving his life just now." After that, Li Azure Solar suddenly said, "Can you explain to me about the Iron-Boned Sect?" At this moment, a side quest was triggered. Jun Sereno was asked to explain the glorious history of the Iron-Boned Sect. However, Jun Sereno was wearing a cold expression, thinking to himself, "Do we really have a glorious history?" The two bald sect leaders quickly stood up and said, "Young Master Li, our sect doesn't have any glorious history." The sect's only shining moment was when sect leader Wang made a contribution to the anti-pornography and anti-illegal publications campaign. Iron-Boned Sect is just a low-class sect, I swear on my remaining hair. Jun Sereno's face turned black when he heard this. Have you said enough? These are all secular views. In fact, my Iron-Boned Sect has a long history and profound ancient heritage. The namely Azure Solar seemed quite interested in hearing this, while the others were all looking confused. Maybe the geniuses' minds are not working well on the first day. How can they believe this? Jun Sereno then began to spin a tale. To the east of Stellar Fall Land lies a vast ocean. At the end of that ocean, there is a kingdom called Ally Kingdom. In Ally Kingdom, there are two sacred mountains. One is the Huagua Mountain, and the other is the Iron-Boned Mountain. And our Iron-Boned Sect originated from the Iron-Boned Mountain. The first sect leader was named Sun Wukong, with the celestial title, the Great Sage Equaling Heaven. At this point, others are starting to believe him a little. And the old man shouted loudly, "Nonsense! The East Sea is extremely dangerous. Even someone as strong as the Martial Emperor dares not venture deep into it. Moreover, there is no mention of the Ally Kingdom in historical records, let alone the Iron-Boned Mountain. Nobody would be foolish enough to believe your nonsense." However, Li Azure Solar said with a smile, "I didn't expect the Iron-Boned Sect to have such a long historical background. But what you said is just past glory. What advantages does it have now?" The old man burst into tears after this remark. This question is really incisive. It immediately touched the sore spot of this unpopular sect. Jun Sereno then stated, "There is no sect in this world that is eternally unbeatable. But our sect is after all an ancient sect. Even if it falls from grace, it still retains its deep heritage. For example, the Dan pill I gave you before can instantly heal your injuries, which is nothing short of a miracle." At this moment, Iaido thought it over and began to believe that what Jun Sereno said was true. And the next second, Jun Sereno continued. Now I need to revive the sect's past glory. I need geniuses like you to assist me. The conditions they offer are hard for me to meet. But if you want to become a martial emperor, then join my Iron-Boned Sect. Upon hearing this, the elder was furious. You dare say anything to become a martial emperor, you rascal. The martial emperor is the most powerful existence in the entire stellar fall land. He is a god revered in the hearts of the people. Iaido agreed before the words were finished. And this is how Iaido officially joined the Iron-Boned Sect. The old man became very angry. You have a top-tier spiritual root and limitless potential for the future. Joining a low-class Iron-Boned Sect is ruining your future. At this moment, Jun Sereno stepped forward and said, Although my Iron-Boned Sect is not prestigious, it's only temporary. I am hereby laying down the challenge today. Within 3 years, my sect will definitely surpass your vast mountain sect. Upon hearing these words, the elder was thoroughly enraged. Do you, this youngster, truly believe that by merely talking big, you can make the sect stronger? I will now let you, this young punk, understand the difference between heaven and earth. Iaido standing aside. Elder Ma, please don't make it difficult for our sect leader. This remark directly embarrassed Elder Ma. But suddenly a voice called a halt to him. It turned out that Iaido's father had arrived. Elder Ma, my son Iaido is still young and ignorant. I am accepting the sincere invitation from your esteemed sect on his behalf. Iaido immediately shouted, Dad, I have already joined the Iron-Boned Sect. But these words angered his father. Shut up! Do you think joining the sect is just your own business? This is related to the future of our entire Li family. If you don't leave the Iron-Boned Sect, you will no longer be a part of my Li family. The butler on the side quickly discouraged as well. Elder Ma also said that going against his father is a great act of unfilial piety. After being advised by several people, Iaido lowered his head slightly. But Jun Sereno stood up. Our Iron-Boned Sect is not as unbearable as you think. In the future, young Master Li's achievements will only rise. And Iaido's father simply does not believe. Sect leader Jun wants disciple to become a strong individual. First, one must have an extraordinary understanding of martial arts themselves. You are so confident. I imagine you must have very rich experience in martial arts. Jun Sereno touched his nose. This one does not dare to boast arrogantly. But when it comes to martial arts experience, should be a bit stronger than anyone present. Serena was a bit intolerant of this statement. Iaido's father frowned. Then I will learn from you today. And thus, he took out the secret manual hidden in his chest. This is a century-old sword art passed down by Azure Solar City called 9 Forms of the Overlapping Waves Sword. However, no martial artist has comprehended the 9th form of Cultivate 9 Forms of the Overlapping Waves Sword to this day. If you can comprehend the 9th form, then I will believe your words. If you fail to deduce it successfully, please let my son withdraw from the Iron-Boned Sect. At this moment, Jun Sereno revealed a sinister smile. No problem. Just like that, he opened the system store. He used the Insight Talisman. The Insight Talisman can provide insights into the opponent's martial arts techniques, secret manuals, and stances, allowing for a quick understanding. It lasts for 60 minutes. Then he quickly browsed through the secret manual of the 9 Forms of the Overlapping Waves Sword, shocking everyone with his speed of reading. Is he really learning the secret manual? What can he learn from flipping through the book so quickly? However, Jun Sereno said, This is the Quantum Wave Enlightenment Method. I have already finished learning. He then drew out his precious sword. Elder Ma was instantly stunned. This wave of chi flow. Could it be that he has already comprehended the first form? But it's only been 1 minute. Later, Jun Sereno used the second form. Third form. Later, he felt it was too slow. He directly jumped into the air and performed the 8th form. At this point, Elder Ma suspected that he must have cultivated the 9 forms of the overlapping wave sword. Otherwise, how is it possible? He learned the entire set of the 9 forms of the overlapping wave sword in just a minute and a half. Such a cultivation speed is also too monstrous. Then he mocked sect leader Jun from the Sereno sect, asking why he stopped. Why not use the 9th form, or is it because you only learned up to the 8th form before? At this time, Jun Sereno emitted an aura all around his body. Li Azure Solar instantly sensed this aura. At this moment, everyone is exclaiming in amazement. Impossible. He has actually entered the sword stage that has been passed down through the ages. Many sword path martial artists cannot enter the sword stage in their entire lives. Suddenly, Elder Ma shouted to stop. This person has entered the sword stage and enlightened the sword path, which is an unexpected opportunity. Do not disturb him. Suddenly, a voice appeared. Old man, you are not a bad person. Now, it's up to you to make a move. Because besides you, there should be no one else present who can handle this sword. He was originally the sect leader of a rubbish sect. He boasted that the founder of his sect was the great sage equaling heaven. He even said that everyone present was rubbish. A man was not convinced and immediately wanted to seek advice from him. The man took out a 100-year-old sword art manual that no one had learned and asked the male Li to explore its secrets. So the male Li began to flip through the sword art manual, but his speed of flipping through it raised suspicions among those around him, because he only took 1 minute to do so. However, he really gained insights into sword art. He even used the 9th form, which no one had ever mastered before. This greatly shocked Elder Ma. Even from the initial distrust, he immediately changed to a welcoming smile. He also hopes that the male Li can help him with some questions. This remark instantly reached the ears of other sect leaders. Elder Ma is a true martial master of the 5-grade sect. Now he is actually seeking advice from a 9-grade sect leader. Later, Elder Ma told Jun Sereno about the power technique and his confusion. And the next second, his confusion was resolved. He immediately planned to return to the sect to go into seclusion and cultivate. At this time, others were eager for Jun Sereno to help answer their questions and dispel their doubts. Some were even willing to pay for it. Jun Sereno turns out to be a transmigrator. His sect is indeed a trash sect. But he awakened the Sect System, that's why he is so powerful now. It's because he used the Insight Talisman to learn power technique secret manuals at an extremely fast speed, but the effect only lasts for 60 minutes. Now, the Insight Talisman still has 57 minutes left. So, he started a business. He only needs 100 taels to answer questions and provide guidance. In this way, while making money, he casually learned their martial arts techniques and internal arts sutra. And there are still many people willing to seek advice. The next person arrived quickly. It was Li's father, who had previously been unwilling to let his son join the sect. Jun Sereno immediately shouted his agreement, offering 1,000 taels. This made Li's father very angry. Others were only offering 100 taels at most. The sect leader Jun's martial arts insight was astonishing. I have agreed to entrust my son to sect leader Jun for education, he said. Upon hearing this, Jun Sereno immediately stood up. Oh, so it's the parent of the second disciple, he said. In that case, I'll give you a discount. This left everyone else bewildered. Your discount offer is too low, they said. Jun Sereno cleverly replied, This is an exclusive benefit for the parents of our disciples. When these words were spoken, everyone was stunned for a moment. Then they all expressed their intention to have their children join the Iron-Boned Sect. At this moment, Jun Sereno smiled. This was one step closer to completing the system's task. Suddenly, a man appeared. Shouldn't the disciple of my spiritual spring sect pay a price for getting beaten up? Immediately, a bald man appeared and started to explain. This is Elder Wei Fury from the spiritual spring sect. Last year, a disciple from an 8th grade sect fought with his disciple, resulting in the sect leader personally destroying the disciple's cultivation level as a compensation. Wei Fury smirked. Now you know how powerful we are. You quickly kneel down and call me daddy. Then put down your money. You can just roll after disabling martial arts mastery. At this moment the system prompts. Teaching spiritual spring sect elder Wei Fury, so Jun Sereno begins to anger Wei Fury. And Wei Fury is also angry. You kid are looking for death. Have the courage to challenge me at Vendetta Arena. At this moment, Li Azure Solar was very worried. Sect leader, he has already unlocked the 12 layers of Meridian. And life and death are irrelevant at Vendetta Arena. So the disciple still hopes. Before finishing his words, Jun Sereno laughed. Is that so? That saves a lot of trouble. And so they arrived at Vendetta Arena. Li Azure Solar confidently asked, Is Sect Leader already at the martial apprentice stage? But Serena told him, No, he has only unlocked the 5 layers of Meridian. Li Azure Solar then said with a shiver, Did Sect Leader leave behind any last words? At this moment, Wei Fury was talking tough. You little brat, if you act cowardly, perhaps this elder might spare you. But now that you've stepped up, be prepared to die. Also, let me remind you that this elder's cultivate body can shatter over 2,000 kilograms of boulders with a single punch, even without being enhanced by any martial arts techniques. In the next moment, Jun Sereno, picking his nose, said, What more nonsense are you going to spout? Finish blowing hot air together quickly. Don't waste my time. Just like that, Wei Fury launched an attack towards Jun Sereno. Wei Fury punched him right in the chest. The powerful impact shook the whole arena. However, Jun Sereno remained silent. Elder Wei, have you started yet? At this moment, Wei Fury was astonished. He didn't even take a small step back. What kind of martial arts techniques is this? At this moment, Jun Sereno, emitting a golden aura all over his body, shouted, Golden Bell Barrier! Li Azure Solar in the audience was very puzzled. What kind of martial arts technique is this, Sect Leader? I have never heard of it in Stellar Fall Land before. Could it be inherited from ancient times by the Iron-Boned Sect? And Serena looked indifferent. The possibility of him talking nonsense is even greater. However, this person does have many inscrutable secrets. Jun Sereno broke out in a cold sweat at this moment. It was close. Luckily, he managed to hold on. Fortunately, there is a punch-resistant talisman in the newbie gift pack. Otherwise, the impact just now would have caused severe injuries even if he didn't die. However, Wei Fury became even more explosive. No matter what martial arts techniques, since one punch is not enough, then just throw more punches. In this way, he launched into a frenzy of attacks towards Jun Sereno. However, Jun Sereno mercilessly taunted him. Keep it up. Put in a little more effort, and you might just manage to wrinkle my clothes. At this moment, Wei Fury finally felt scared. There are actually such powerful defensive martial arts techniques in the world. Even Li Azure Solar couldn't help but exclaim. With such powerful martial arts techniques, it seems that the sect leader is already unbeatable. But suddenly Wei Fury chuckled. Kid, do you think I'll give up that easily? It's you who forced me to use my trump card. Even if you die, you should feel honored. And Jun Sereno is a bit confused. So you not only look like Mr. Satan, but even your trump card is Kamehameha. And Li Azure Solar looks very serious. What's with the attitude? Immediately he shouted, Sect Leader, quick dodge! This is a unique martial arts technique of the spiritual spring sect. It is called the Radiant Thunderous Brilliant Goldstone Fist Zero form, ranked as middle rank in the mortal tier. Jun Sereno was speechless. What a name! Could it be that the sect leader of the spiritual spring sect is surnamed Minato and called Namikaze? But Wei Fury laughed. He actually dared to be absent-minded in the face of such martial arts techniques. Then you are ready to die. This man is really good at pretending. He used the experience talisman given by the system to directly advance to the Meridian unlocking 5 layer. Then he used the insight talisman given by the system to directly learn the 9 forms of the overlapping wave sword, which no one has mastered in a century. Now, he has also used the punch-resistant talisman given by the system to stand still and endure the relentless attacks from people several stages above him. He did not move at all. And finally, others are about to reveal their trump cards to deal with him. But he is still complaining about other people's skill names. At this moment, Wei Fury laughed. Can actually be distracted in the face of this kind of martial arts techniques. Then you are ready to die. As a result, Wei Fury's ultimate move was lightly tapped and shattered. Wei Fury was directly stunned. The male disciples were also stunned. Even the two bald spectators on the side exclaimed, "Old Scar, we must be dreaming. His golden belt barrier can actually withstand a mortal tier power technique." And the man chuckled confidently. Indeed, products from this system are always top-notch. But at this moment, Elder Wei clearly felt unwell. The audience also expressed that Elder Wei is not doing well. But as a man, how can one stand hearing words like, "You are not doing well"? Elder Wei immediately became angry. "Do you think I only have body cultivation skills? I still have weapons." Jun Sereno understood at a glance. This knife is a weapon forged by Master Fan. Master Fan is a top forging master in Stellar Fall Land. He has forged thousands of weapons in his lifetime. Each one is regarded as a treasure by the martial artists on the continent. Wei Fury also spoke up. "This sword was bought by me on installment for 400 years. It has always been cherished. Today, I will show you what high-quality goods are." The next second, Jun Sereno immediately complained, "Why are there nicks on the blade of your sword? Are you sure it's not a fake?" Wei Fury felt embarrassed upon hearing the immediate explanation. "This weapon was forged by Master Fan. Even if it has flaws, it is extremely valuable. And do you know how expensive the flawless version is?" Golden Long Blade, a mortal tier weapon. After infusing it with my spiritual power, it can cut through martial apprentices in an instant. Hurry up and reveal your trash weapon. Let's battle to the death. And just like that, Jun Sereno summoned the system again. Then he presented a system-manufactured item, the guaranteed high-quality entry-tier cold-edged sword. At this moment, Wei Fury laughed. "Since you brandish your weapon, I'll unleash my blade. Let me show you my desert blade technique." At this moment, Jun Sereno was still admiring the sword. "The appearance of this blade is quite good. I just don't know how powerful it is." Just like that, Jun Sereno employed the 9 forms of the overlapping wave sword, and after the collision of the sword chi from both weapons, the desert blade technique was instantly shattered. A gush of blood also splashed out as he swung his wine. "Sorry, it's my first time using this piece of junk. I didn't control the strength well." And at this time, Elder Wei was already kneeling on the ground in pain and screaming miserably. Seeing the severed limbs falling to the ground, Jun Sereno thought, "Did I go too far?" But then he thought to himself, "He tried to kill me and ended up disabled instead. It doesn't seem unreasonable." Then he jumped off the platform. "Serena Azure Solar, let's return to the sect." Someone in the crowd spoke at this time. Too scary. He actually defeated Elder Wei so easily. But the spiritual spring sect is probably not going to let it go easily. The scene changed. The 3 of them returned to the sect. The dilapidated gate-mate Azure Solar couldn't help but comment. "Is it still possible to withdraw from the sect now?" Suddenly, a child appeared and used the sect as a toilet. Jun Sereno was so angry that he was about to confiscate his crime tool immediately. But fortunately, he calmed down. "Forget it, the sect leader will not." Before he could finish speaking, he was met with a sudden plaque right on his head. The next second, he erupted in emotions again. "I want to smash it." After a simple bandaging, Jun Sereno gave Azure Solar the first task. The current top priority task for Sect is to renovate from top to bottom, inside and out. This challenging task is now assigned to you. The Sect leader's head is a bit dizzy, so they will go rest first. Soon, the Sect began the renovation. Jun Sereno began closed-door cultivation. He not only used the spiritual liquid chi to improve his spiritual root aptitude, but also exchanged contribution points for cultivation levels, successfully breaking through to the 10th layer of meridian unlocking. He felt the pleasure of continuous emergence of power. He punched straight into the newly renovated wall. A sudden voice sounded. "Sect leader, your punch. It will cost at least 200 taels to rebuild." Jun Sereno, upon seeing this, quickly took out all his savings. "It's for you, all for you. Our sect leader is closed for training." 2.5 days later, Jun Sereno emerged from the room as he finished his closed training. He was suddenly shocked. "Oh my, where is this? Have I time-traveled again? This pavilion, this artificial mountain. And this attic. This isn't the Imperial Palace, is it?" At this moment, Solar walked over and said, "Sect leader, are you satisfied with this decoration?" Satisfied. In that case, I am truly satisfied." But just after Solar finished reporting the accounts, Jun Sereno couldn't smile anymore. "So Solar, are you saying that I only have 250 left of the money I earned a few days ago?" Solar, on the other hand, said that a few thousand for pocket money isn't quite enough. Upon hearing this, Jun Sereno cried, "How could you call a few thousand pocket money? I am currently bankrupt with my crystal core contribution points." Suddenly, a noisy sound came from outside the door. It turned out that the new students had come to report. "It's almost dark. Why are there only 20-something people?" Just as I finished asking, a cry for help came from the door. "Sect leader, help me." Only the sound of the wind blowing could be heard. Jun Sereno and Solar appeared in front of the person in a flash. Solar was startled for a moment. "Isn't the sect leader from the Meridian Unlocking 5 layer? How come his speed is faster than mine?" Jun Sereno then learned from that person that more than 30 of his own disciples had been abducted by bandits. They even left behind a ransom letter. Jun Sereno was instantly furious. He was absolutely fed up. Then he decided to go and crush Black Mountain. Solar quickly shouted, "Leader, you might be alone in this. Disciple will go with you." However, Jun Sereno's tone was unusually firm. "You stay and take care of this sect. This is an order. Those who dare to bully members of my Iron-Boned Sect have no reason to remain in this world." He soon arrived at Black Mountain. The two gatekeepers looked incredulous. "Sixth brother, am I not mistaken? Someone dares to come to Black Mountain." He was just about to taunt them with his words. But the next second, that person was gone without a trace. Then Jun Sereno turned to another person and said, "Notify your sect leader Iron-Boned Sect to come and redeem the person." Only 100 milliseconds later, Jun Sereno entered Black Mountain Hall, where a group of fierce and evil people stood in the hall. Their strength has reached Meridian Unlocking 10 layer and above. The strength of the Stronghold Master has reached the Martial Apprentice stage. Sect leader Jun has arrived in great splendor. Let my Black Wind Stronghold shine brightly. However, Jun Sereno still feels a little anxious inside. Wow, one Martial Apprentice is equivalent to 10 Meridian Unlocking 12 layers. Wow, this pressure is a bit overwhelming. But he still forced himself to remain calm. "I am only here this time to take the disciple away," Stronghold Master said with a fake smile on his lips. "All right, I, Zhou Tianba, am a reasonable businessman. One person is worth 100 taels of silver. If you bring more than 30 people, I can give you a discount. Let's settle for 3,000 taels." The supporting character on the side continued to sneer. "Kid, you can enjoy it quietly. Normally, at our Black Wind Stronghold, it costs 200 taels per person." Jun Sereno suddenly snorted coldly. "How about this? I will pay 1 tael. Consider it as covering their accommodation fees." Seeing Jun Sereno acting so arrogantly, a man dragged out one of his disciples and threw him in front of the creditor. Zhou Tianba just held his head. "Sect leader Jun, let me kill a few for you. This way, you can also pay less silver. However, that disciple cried out hastily, "Don't kill me! I'm willing to." Before he could finish speaking, Zhou Tianbo swiftly took care of him with one hand. Sect leader Jun, do you have any objections to me dealing with such a cowardly person who seeks only to save his own life? At this moment, Jun Sereno's face darkened, and a murderous aura continued to emanate from him. I have an objection. Suddenly, a bored person spoke up. Haha, this kid is still angry. The head of the family helped you clean up a greedy and cowardly disciple. You should be grateful. Before that person could even say, "Thank you," they were killed by Jun Sereno. You understand no rules at all. When important people speak, you still interrupt. I have no objections to helping you clean up the mess. The bald man on the side became angry at this moment. Dare to kill my ninth brother, and you will pay with your life. The bald man threw a punch as he spoke. But the bald man was stopped by the head of the family. Jun Sereno also felt the momentum unleashed by the head of the family. Sect leader Jun, I don't want to resort to force. Just hand over the 3,000 taels, and I will let you leave. Jun Sereno remained unperturbed, refusing to negotiate on the price. At this moment, Zhou Tianbo was so angry that he felt like he could crush his teeth. What an ungrateful fellow. But suddenly, the bald man flexed his muscles. Boss, let me kill him. We can just search for the money directly from his body then. And Jun Sereno began to analyze. This big guy is probably a power-type opponent. However, the next second he was shocked. Just saw the bald guy strike a pose. The next second, his footsteps unexpectedly created afterimages. In just a moment, he flashed behind Jun Sereno. Didn't expect that I am a speed type, did you? Jun Sereno was quickly surrounded by him alone. Today I will let you see what speed is. Seeing this, the head of the family couldn't help but praise. Lao Lu's shadow step has improved a lot compared to half a year ago. The person next to him also hurriedly said, Yes, with 6 brothers' speed, even the fastest sword is of no use. However, the next second, he widened his eyes. The man was really angry this time. Facing more than 200 bandits, he remained calm. Even the 8 leaders of the bandits' stronghold are lower level than him. But he not only did not agree to the bandits' ransom demands, but also urged them to release the captive immediately. Upon hearing this, the leader of the other side directly killed one of his disciples. At this time, Jun Sereno was extremely angry. He immediately killed one of the stronghold master's subordinates. A strong man immediately became angry and was about to seek revenge. Seeing this muscular strong man, Jun Sereno immediately realized that he was a power-type athlete. However, the strong man struck a strange pose. Then the strong man started to move at a speed that was too fast for the naked eye to follow. At that moment, Jun Sereno was somewhat surprised. Oops, he turned out to be a speed type. And this speed was completely invisible. The strong man moved madly around Jun Sereno like this. He also taunted wildly at the same time. Haha, too slow, too slow. Let me show you what real speed is. And the leader of the counterfeiter explained, This is our famous martial arts techniques, 7 shadow steps. Another man also said, With the speed of Brother 6 now, even if his sword is fast, it cannot be faster than Brother 6's swift speed. At this moment, Jun Sereno sighed, with buzzing noise in his ears like a fly. Then he raised the sword in his hand. And the man started showing off again. Brother 6 is so fast! If you can stab casually like this and still hit me, I will eat. But before he could finish his sentence, he froze. It turns out the man's speed was too fast. He couldn't even control himself and accidentally ran into the sword. And Jun Sereno just scoffed. Idiot, don't you know how to go around the corner? You just had to run into my sword. At that moment, several other leaders also angrily rushed forward. Jun Sereno managed to evade the siege with a swift dodge. Since you've all surrounded me, don't blame me for using my hidden cards. Just as he summoned the unstoppable blade, he was left speechless the next moment. What's going on? Why is it so short? When it was in the storage ring before, it was at least a foot long, right? Others also started to mock him. Is this toothpick your trump card? Your trump card might be good for cutting apples, perhaps. At this point, Jun Sereno had no way out. He used a seal-opening talisman that had never been used before. At this moment, his knife emitted a bright light. Everyone else was shocked. Even the head of the family was astonished. Could it be that inconspicuous little knife? Is it a high-quality weapon? As soon as it opened its eyes, there was a knife in front of it. It's still a super long 40-meter long sword. The head of the family was trembling all over at this moment. The length of the sword is not frightening. What's frightening is the pressure it exudes. It actually made my breathing difficult. And Jun Sereno laughed. Is this the unstoppable blade? But damn, this 40 meters is too long. At this time, the leader spoke. Sect leader Jun, please put away the knife. Let's talk things out. And Jun Sereno revealed an evil smile. Once my 40-meter long knife is drawn, it is hard to put it back. So I will give you a grand burial later. With this one strike, instantly took out 2 leaders. At this time, the big leader was also trembling with fear. But Jun Sereno said, I deliberately released the pressure on you. That's why you were able to escape unscathed. Because I still have questions to ask you. And just in that instant, it was not only your 2 leaders who were gone. There are also more than 100 of your barbaric followers who have no humanity. I am just representing the people of Azure Solar District today, and seeking revenge for those innocent souls who died unjustly. At this moment, there are still many bandits who have not died begging for mercy. However, Jun Sereno lifted the long knife in his hand. Beg for mercy? Then ask those bodies that you have mutilated if they would agree. Would those innocent souls agree? Today, let me be your god of death. I will let you experience how it feels to be mutilated by someone. Jun Sereno swiftly dealt with this group of bandits with just one strike. Then he continued, Boss, now it's just the 2 of us left. I can give you a head start of 39 meters. But the next second, the boss was already kneeling on the ground. Sect leader Jun, spare me. I will send back all your esteemed sect disciples. The long blade is now placed on the head of the household. The head of the household, I am very curious. Why did you suddenly target my Iron-Boned Sect? The head of the household started to hesitate. I have some interest in the recent disciple recruitment event you held. Jun Sereno raised his large knife before I could finish speaking. This subordinate hopes to hear the truth. The head of the family immediately screamed in fright. Spiritual Spring Sect! Spiritual Spring Sect gave me a large sum of money, asking me to kidnap your sect's disciple to take your life. Jun Sereno swung his knife the next second. The system prompt then appeared. Congratulations to the host for completing the secret mission of eliminating harm for the people. After the host used the unstoppable blade, they will be forced into weakness for 30 minutes. During this time, they will have no strength, no defense, and even a 3-year-old child can easily take them down. Jun Sereno was dumbfounded by this. Why the heck didn't you say this earlier? Fortunately, he wiped out all those scum himself. And you can close your eyes now too. The man starts with an artifact, but it's an extremely short little dagger. Even the opposing team mocked him for being too short. But the man used the legendary Bankai. In an instant, the small short sword turned into a 40-meter-long great sword. With just one swing, the entire mountain stronghold was cut in half. With another swing of the sword, the entire mountain stronghold was completely cleared out. At this point, his second disciple was very worried. In his eyes, for the sect leader to go alone to the mountain stronghold to rescue people is risking his life for no reason. So, he anxiously asked the senior sister, What should we do if something unexpected happens to the sect leader in the future? Serena replied, It's simple. I'll be the sect leader, and you'll be the chief disciple. At that moment, Li Azure Solar was a bit puzzled. But Serena continued, Don't worry. That guy's cards are being revealed one after another. Maybe. Suddenly, she had a bright idea. Jun Sereno has returned. Li Azure Solar immediately went forward to greet. Sect leader, you have finally come to your senses. It's too dangerous to go alone. Let's call the police first. Jun Sereno was just talking about Azure Solar. More than 30 disciples are waiting at the foot of the mountain. Send someone to bring them back. By the way, before you left, you mentioned that you were going to renovate the inner courtyard. Take it. At this moment Li Azure Solar is a bit confused. This is a gold ingot. Did sect leader you hand over Black Wind Stronghold? Jun Sereno laughed. Black Wind Stronghold? This leader destroyed it effortlessly. At this moment, Black Wind Stronghold is already a ruin. A guard reported that at Black Wind Stronghold, more than 200 bandits were killed. They appeared to have died from the same weapon based on their wounds, and the positions of the bodies indicate they may have been killed by the same person. And the mysterious figure laughed. The same person? It seems that a remarkable individual has emerged in Azure Solar District. And Jun Sereno is here worshipping and burning incense. System Dad, I'll leave the next steps to you. Although I have always been an unlucky soul, this time I have burnt incense. Just like that, Jun Sereno did a 10-pull draw. The next second, a gold tier item appeared. He was so ecstatic that his bottom blossomed. Then he immediately exchanged it. Celestial Tier Preliminary Internal Arts Sutra, the tendon strengthening classic power technique features. It can enhance the cultivation speed of Meridian unlocking stage martial artists. It can also increase Rush Meridian success rate by 50%. Moreover, this belongs to Sect power technique, only usable by those within the sect. Outsiders cannot cultivate or steal it. In this way, he replicated multiple copies for the disciples to learn. And his disciples were very pessimistic. What use could the Internal Arts Sutra created by the sect leader at the Meridian unlocking stage be? Li Azure Solar opened it and took a look, but found that this Internal Arts Sutra mantra is almost perfect. It can even surpass the middle tier Internal Arts Sutra purchased by his father before. And Serena was very indifferent. Sect leader, if the Internal Arts Sutra you created is not better than the Internal Arts Sutra that disciples are cultivating, can I choose not to learn it? At this moment, Jun Sereno leaned in to Serena's ear. If the Internal Arts Sutra you are cultivating reaches the celestial tier, then you can choose not to learn it. Serena blushed instantly and turned her head. Let me take a look first before deciding. Serena glanced through it. The Internal Arts Sutra appeared easy to understand on the surface, but was profound and mysterious. It was definitely an authentic celestial tier Internal Arts Sutra. A Meridian unlocking martial artist definitely cannot create a celestial tier Internal Arts Sutra. Could it be that the Iron-Boned Sect is truly a declining ancient sect? 9 days later, a young man is cultivating. He shouted, Haha, I finally unlocked the Meridian unlocking 4-layer. Suddenly, a pillow was thrown up. You are the last one in our dorm to break through the tendon strengthening classic. Do you still have the nerve to be so loud? Later, Li Azure Solar also happily responded. Within these 20 days, all the disciples have increased by 1 layer. So many junior brothers successfully rushed through the Meridian in such a short period of time. It's truly a remarkable feat. Jun Sereno then expressed, There will be plenty more of these ordinary things in the future. As the second disciple, you have to learn to adapt. Upon hearing this, Li Azure Solar responded briefly and then left. And he felt upset. Why? Why have all the disciples successfully rushed through Meridian, but I failed again? Afterwards, Jun Sereno refreshed the exclusive spiritual chi formation for the disciples. When he was about to start learning to use it, a disciple shouted, Something's wrong. Someone is causing trouble at the door. At this moment, a group of people outside the door are beating up a man in a red shirt. Suddenly, a voice appeared. Stop! This is the territory of my Iron-Boned Sect. If you want to fight, then back off. And the man who wanted to fight shouted, How dare a small Iron-Boned Sect tell this young master to back off? Are you stupid? Before he could finish his words, he was kicked over. It turns out it was Jun Sereno who kicked him. What's going on? Why did I suddenly kick him without realizing it? Two strong men immediately shouted fiercely. How dare you hit the third young master of the family AI? Your Iron-Boned Sect is just waiting to be exterminated. The family AI is so powerful. Are they really going to wipe out our Iron-Boned Sect? And Iaido will introduce it. Family AI is the largest Dan pill business family in Huyang City. They are wealthy and highly prestigious. At this time, AI Beating shouted loudly, Dare to kick this young master's face? Tell your sect leader to come out and kneel down to apologize. Jun Sereno tapped his palm and said, No wonder everyone wants to kick you when they see you. AI Beating became even more enraged. I will make sure your sect leader expels you from the sect. Stop shouting. It's useless even if you scream your lungs out. Because I am the sect leader. At this moment, AI Beating and the others had dumbfounded expressions on their faces. Later he shouted, Iron-Boned Sect leader, do you think you can just send a little chick to fool me while hiding in the dark? Would this young master give up that easily? At this moment, Jun Sereno grabbed his collar. Are you an idiot? I am standing right in front of you. How can't you see such a big sect leader? Then he immediately threw AI Beating out. AI Beating also let the subordinates retreat first. Then he was picked up. And Jun Sereno asked, Does Iaido not look like a sect leader at all? Afterwards, Jun Sereno brought the beaten boy back. He also took out a healing Dan that can be exchanged once a month. At this moment, Serena was puzzled. Are you sure you want to save him? Do you really think he will be a genius like second junior brother? Jun Sereno did not hesitate. Maybe he was just lucky. The youth swallowed the Dan pill just like that. He immediately came back to life. And Jun Sereno started. Young man, do you know that just now our sect leader spent the sect's protective power to save you? Before finishing his words, the young man knelt down with a plop. Sect leader, please let me join the Iron-Boned Sect. At this point, Jun Sereno felt a little embarrassed. I was still thinking about making some preparations before asking you. I didn't expect you to be so straightforward. What is your name? The young man replied, My name is Xiao Skyline, a direct descendant of the family Xiao of the Great Yin Dynasty. The next second, Iaido shouted, Are you the kept prince of Empress Xiao Skyline from the Great Yin Dynasty? The man's name is Xiao Skyline from the Great Yin Dynasty, a member of the Xiao family's direct line. Legendary tier cultivator spiritual root is a genius known to everyone in the entire Great Yin Dynasty. However, for some unknown reason, spiritual root has degraded to the lowest tier. The 12 main meridians are being reconnected once again. Due to the decrease in spiritual root cultivation level, he was ruthlessly dismissed by the merciless Empress Zerua Violet of Great Yin, and was harshly humiliated. Afterwards, he was driven out of the family Xiao and half beaten to death by family AI. He was later saved by Jun Sereno. He immediately wanted to join the Iron-Boned Sect. However, Jun Sereno refused, saying he was not willing. Xiao Skyline cried at this moment. I know I am not worthy to be an Iron-Boned Sect disciple. Then he turned around and prepared to leave. Iaido immediately shouted, Xiao young master, as long as you stay in the Iron-Boned Sect and learn from the sect leader, you will definitely regain what you have lost. But Jun Sereno stopped his words. Turn left when you go out the door, and there's a cliff. If you want to die, just jump down. Perhaps you may encounter something unexpected and reach the peak of your life. And Xiao Skyline said, From the moment I became useless, any encounters and opportunities are destined to be non-existent. Adventure is for those who are prepared. There are no naturally powerful people in this world, only those who are naturally determined to be strong. Can you endure being insulted by Zerua Violet? Can you bear being spurned by your family? Don't you want to become stronger again? Tell those women with short-sighted vision. Tell those heartless tribal members. The river flows east for 30 years, then west for 30 years. Do not look down on Xiao Skyline for being poor. Xiao Skyline tightened his fists upon hearing this. Sect leader Jun, I want to join the Iron-Boned Sect. I want to regain everything I have lost. And so, Jun Sereno accepted Xiao Skyline as a disciple. The next moment, Jun Sereno sent him out to shovel manure. Serena was speechless. She was actually deceived by that jerk's few words into ghostwriting a letter. Afterwards, she asked the old man, "What kind of letter do you want to write?" However, the old man didn't hear clearly. Then Serena raised her voice. In the end, she was so annoyed by the old man that she nearly got half-killed. Even Lee Azure Solar felt embarrassed. Over here, Jun Sereno just redeemed a strength detector. He punched and it showed 1,800 kilograms. This strength is stronger than a martial artist at the 11th layer of Meridian unlocking. Jun Sereno is very proud at this moment. The next second, he was so scared that cold sweat poured down. Jun Sereno, you get out of here. Jun Sereno is here. This deep and hoarse bass voice gives a feeling of 1,000-mile sound transmission. Could it be a formidable expert? Have you seen any experts outside? Mora suddenly ran in. It turned out that Elder from Family AI came. He came for the incident of AI being beaten. Seeing that the Iron-Boned Sect is also one of the 100 Sects Alliance, we won't investigate the matter of Xiao Skyline stealing medicine. But for beating AI, you will be held accountable. You only need to let me break one hand and one foot. Upon hearing this, Jun Sereno showed a contemptuous smile. Okay. Come on, let's go to the martial arts arena and exchange some moves. The two of them arrived at the arena. Elder began taunting before the fight. You, a Meridian Unlocking Junior, dare to challenge me, a 5th-grade martial apprentice. I must admire your courage. Upon hearing about the martial apprentice, a disciple started to worry. However, Mora said, "What's a martial apprentice? Even the head of the Black Mountain's martial apprentice was killed by the sect leader." At this moment, Elder stopped believing. You destroyed the bandits of Black Wind Stronghold? Even I wouldn't dare to claim to be able to single-handedly wipe out Black Wind Stronghold. Sect leader Jun, you deceived even your own disciple for the sake of claiming 1,000 gold coins. Jun Sereno felt a bit embarrassed. What? Someone actually claimed 1,000 gold coins. What? There are bounties too. Then I must hurry to Azure Solar City. Elder is about to take action. Jun Sereno took out the speeding talisman to face Elder. Have you ever heard, in the world of martial arts, only speed is unbeatable? Before he could finish, Elder cut off one of Jun Sereno's hands. Then he confidently turned around. He found Jun Sereno unharmed squatting behind him. He immediately showed a shocked expression. It turned out that he had just chopped a residual image. He immediately shouted, "You must have used some crooked witchcraft." At this moment, Jun Sereno said, "Then I'll walk again to show you. Open your eyes wider." Just like that, Jun Sereno instantly ran to his back. Elder immediately made a cut behind him. But he hit an illusion. Even Jun Sereno's disciples started to doubt if they were seeing things. How come even the 2.5 sect leader elders are gradually getting anxious? Could it be that this illusion is caused by the high speed? And Jun Sereno suddenly ran up to him. And then he kicked him. Elder steadied his body immediately. He cursed at the stinky kid. He was then kicked by Jun Sereno. This move is not very aggressive, but extremely insulting. I originally did not want to use it lightly. At this moment, Elder became angry. It's impossible. I am a 5th-grade martial apprentice. I can't be bullied by a junior like you. Just like that, he used the net of heaven and earth. But Jun Sereno remains calm. Hey, Elder, do you really think it's necessary to continue fighting? That's it. Elder admits defeat. And he also realized that he must not make enemies with the Iron-Boned Sect under any circumstances. We are in a forest at the moment. Mimi, there is no one around. I haven't seen you for several days, sister. Brother, I can't even eat without thinking about you. Come and give me a kiss. The next second, he was confused. Because Jun Sereno is at the scene collecting evidence. Let's take a picture to remember this. Then Jun Sereno ran towards Azure Solar City. When I receive 1,200 gold coins, I will also come to this small forest for a carefree adventure. The man single-handedly wiped out the mountain bandits with a 40-meter-long sword. He heard that someone was falsely claiming